AJ Sports Show Nation, I got one question for you. Are you guys ready for some football on Wednesday night? Let's go. Hello and welcome in. It's the AJ Sports Show. It's the first football edition of the show during the weekdays because we call the weekend one. What do we call that one, Andrew?
The weekend Sunday morning roast.
Sunday morning roast. That's why I pay you the big bucks to remember the big things.
Yes, sir.
While we come up with a nice, fun name, maybe we'll put a poll up on Twitter so you guys can decide. We're going to just call it NFL Wednesday for now. But welcome in, guys. I'm Ace. He is Jay, and he is Andrew. What's going on?
How are you guys? Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thank God football's back, man.
Football. Only the... Lord. Okay, so yesterday we talked about baseball, and then baseball we're trying to do the numbers in our head how to make baseball a better sport. Mm-hmm. Football doesn't got that problem.
They're doing just fine.
Yeah.
What's up, Elizabeth?
Except adding the extra week. I will say I didn't see the necessity for that.
Ooh, is that a take? Is that a hot take?
Well, it doesn't make any sense. A bunch of greedy owners just trying to get an extra game out of these guys. I'm surprised the Players Association said yes. When they first said yes, I was like, why? What are we doing? Good Lord. I played college football and got hurt doing so. And playing for the 12 to 15 weeks that we played was an onslaught. So I can't imagine on top of that. Plus, if you make the playoffs, I mean, you know, our teams, no big deal. We'll be in some deep playoff runs more than likely. So, you know, I'm just so surprised that they did that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not crazy to think that the league expands, but yeah, you know, it is interesting with all the politics aside that they would have come to a decision, which seems kind of quick. I mean, I don't know how many years they were bouncing this idea out there, but yeah, you're not wrong at all, buddy. I'm gonna tell you though, I'll be excited. That's one more week into next year that we don't just have just baseball. If I don't, you know that.
And that also means for our lucky viewers, we get an extra Sunday morning roast episode where we can watch Johnny lose a lot of money. And that's just the best thing of the weekend, in my opinion, I'll be honest. That's the greatest. That's what I look forward to. I look forward to my donuts on Sunday and Johnny losing money. It's a tradition as old as time.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask for a selfie from you, Jay, every Sunday. So we'll put all 17 selfies up. Well, technically 18 because we have 18 weeks now, including a bye. So we'll see how the progression of your facial expressions go as the season goes.
Just for 100% transparency, I've done DFS for 2 years now. Last year was the first year I was really every day doing research, getting on it. I lost money the first year for sure. Last year we pretty much broke out even. And for some reason, my luck with basketball, I mean, I guess it's just a lot easier for basketball to predict who's going to be on the floor. I don't know why. I'm not doing anything proprietary here for basketball. I mean, I play guys even if they're kind of bummy, as long as they're on the floor. It's literally, and we'll talk about this as DFS starts to get more into it, but it's literally impossible in basketball for you to score 12 points on a single play. I mean, LeBron can get a block, score a bucket, and that's only 4 points. There's only so much you can do. An NFL player could break off an 80-yard touchdown, and all of a sudden you go from losing nothing to winning everything, or in my case, more than likely, winning something to losing everything. And it makes it so much fun. If you have not tried NFL DFS, it makes I love watching football regardless. I'm the kind of guy who gets up and slows down plays during the timeouts and breaks stuff down. But if you're just looking for a rush, that's a rush, man. I mean, yeah, you stack the right game and all of a sudden you got a blowout game and it's back and forth. Plus you got some money, you got some chat on the line. Let's go.
Some cheddar. We talking about cheese again? Okay. So the fine folks here at AJ Sports Show, before we started going live and live streaming with you, on your weekday nights and weekend mornings, we did a thing where we recorded a bunch of episodes of us breaking down fantasy football positions. So if you guys are into that, I think we did a really good job. I made these to do a lot of homework. I was kind of the little hosty host for most of the breakdowns, but still gave my 2 cents in there. So we have every like positional player breakdown. We also shot a few shows where we talked about NFL signings and stuff like that. So we got some good stuff there. Look at
Absolutely.
let me just point out like I don't know. You had a good beard day there, Jay. Look at that. Look at that. Looking fresh there, buddy. Andrew.
I appreciate you guys, man. You guys are the biggest supporters. I swear.
I don't know if we put this up on the screen yet. I don't think we did, but what's going on, Ryan? Welcome into the show.
What's up, Ryan?
Ryan? What up, man?
But maybe what we can do is, and I think this is probably what this is probably the best idea because we can get this to you guys in a quicker setting. But maybe we'll go on to TikTok-y, and we'll put some of our fantasy football takes, predictions, stuff like that. I think that would be a great place for us to meet you guys. The AJ Sports Show family, as much as possible.
This is a good question.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. Just do your thing. I stopped. My hands right here.
What kind of cheese is football? Now that we have determined baseball is Swiss. Oh boy.
Whatever the best cheese is, Ryan. Whatever your favorite cheese is, whatever cheese gets you going, Ryan. Because football is what gets me going.
I'm thinking it's got to be like American cheese, right? I feel like it's got to be the Kraft slices because like that goes great on anything. Like no matter what, you can't tell me it's not good. And if you tell me you don't like that kind of cheese and you eat cheese, you're a liar because that's the best cheese. So I think it's that cheese because you're always gonna get good taste.
We'll have to make a T-shirt with just an emoji of each cheese and then the football team, the NFL and whatnot. Amanda, hello.
Hey, what up, Amanda?
Congrats on the job, Amanda. Let's go. Big shout out. AJ Familia, Amanda getting a job. Let's go.
We saw her graduate. We saw her get a job. I'm telling you guys, I'm proud.
This is awesome. Yeah, heck yeah, baby.
Football's not going to be the only thing making us be in tears this year. A lot of football.
Amanda, 2 shows ago we started off with the hobo. Hobo picks. Just an FYI. We told you we would do it and we did.
Oh heck yeah, that's great. Photoshop skills on 1,000.
On the topic of cheese, should we? Oh, sorry to interrupt, but on the topic of cheese, should we jump into like the biggest storyline already with the NFL season and Aaron Rodgers?
I think we should probably talk about one of those cheeseheads over there in Wisconsin. Is he air on or is he air out? I mean, you could take this in either way. Is he going to air out this season? Is he going to just be, a little thorn in the side? Is he going to be the worst cheese ever? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Why don't you lead this one, Andrew?
Absolutely. So my biggest questions, I guess, surrounding it, right, is this going to be his last year in Green Bay? GM Brian Gutekunst has obviously made it clear that the front office and the people of Wisconsin who are actually so the people who don't know, we've explained it a few times on the show, the city of Wisconsin basically has ownership stake in the Green Bay Packers, and they kind of determine and safeguard the future of the franchise. And for a long time, Aaron Rodgers has just consistently voiced unhappiness. So the big questions are is this going to be his last year? Because now signing that new deal, he has a player option where he can opt out going into the next season after this whole season is over. And then the other lingering question is now for Green Bay that they're going to have to figure out is, does Devontae Adams, the probably consensus best wide receiver in the NFL right now, is he going to stay in Green Bay long term if Aaron Rodgers doesn't commit? So it's kind of leaving Matt LaFleur and his coaching staff kind of in a weird position. Jordan Love, the quarterback they drafted, that really set the tires on fire for this whole Aaron Rodgers saga, has not really shown out well and hasn't played a game in a year and a half. I was reading today. He hasn't played an actual competitive game because there was no preseason last year because of COVID. So he hasn't suited up for a football game in 18 months, well over 18 months, because he didn't dress for any of the 16 regular season games or even put on pads to be on the sideline. So it'd be interesting. And also would be interesting for where would he go if he did decide to leave, So would he go to a strong contender with a good defense already? And I mean, that's just something that's going to have to be, I guess, addressed when the time comes. But it's kind of an interesting saga coming from last year's MVP, guys. So don't know how long it's going to keep lingering.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan is in the camp of thinking that he'll be out this year along with Adams. So he thinks Adams going to be gone too. I mean, it's the writing seems like it's pretty much on the wall for Aaron Rodgers. He's voiced his displeasure over the last few years, and to be honest, he kind of has a right. Not that Green Bay hasn't done, super well. What we got? What on earth is a? Oh yeah, what is a habanero gummy bear? Is it spicy and a gummy bear?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I'll take 10.
You getting a little choked up there because of the habanero? Hit you? Pow! Habanero right to the face.
If you go to 7-Eleven, they have a mango chamoy, a pineapple habanero, and then one more spicy one. But the mango chamoy ones are really good. The pineapple habanero ones are not bad either.
Amanda's not a fan of your habanero gummy bears. I'm a big gummy candy guy. I'm actually pretty much a gummy aficionado. If it's being honest,
you are.
I mean, Jesus, I've tried just about any types of gummies. Never had those, but I love me some gummies. If you want to talk about the best gummies, Disneyland character gummies, perfect consistency, great flavor, fantastic Disney gummies. Anyway, back to the Chiefs. Yeah, Green Bay fans are breaking. Yeah.
So I mean, it's freaking hilarious. The MVP of last year doesn't want to be there, which is probably like not the first time, but one of the the few times where we kind of know from history that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a great relationship with his family and stuff like that, and he kind of runs seems a little broody at times, but yeah, I mean, it is devastating, and that's what Amanda just said there to the Wisconsin fans out there. They haven't had a bad quarterback in a very long time. Brett Favre left. Aaron Rodgers was right there to take over. So it's a new awakening there. In the NFC North.
You get what you deserve, bro. You get what you deserve. I mean, Green Bay's front office did not do well by him, in my opinion. Their defense has been, average. There's been a few years where it's been above. The offensive line, while he's been there, has been average. There's been a few years where there's been above. When he first got there, when he first started, they had some players, Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb, and they gave Randall Cobb the boot. Not to mention getting rid of his QB coach without even consulting him, going and drafting and moving up to draft the first-round quarterback without giving him any notice. I mean, it's been documented that when the Kansas City Chiefs moved up to get Patrick Mahomes, there was constant communication. And obviously, I'm not saying Alex Smith is on the same level as Aaron Rodgers because, again, it's Aaron Rodgers. But what I'm comparing it to is even someone like Alex Smith of the Kansas City Chiefs was notified, like, hey, look, we're going to draft Patrick Mahomes. And he's the real deal, okay? That's literally all it would have taken in order for Aaron Rodgers probably not to be pissed off. But now you done did burn the rooster's nest, and now he's pissed. And he's already a kind of guy, as you mentioned, everyone has their own personalities, bro. And he's in Green Bay. He's not a Green Bay, it's not like he fits their culture or anything, but my boy's from LA. He went to Cal. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He's very much like coastal. He's on that mindset, that wavelength. And he goes for 6 months out of the year to go play football in the frozen tundra that is Green Bay. I mean, I wouldn't want to play football there. I played football in very, very cold conditions, not even snowing, very, very cold up in Boron, and I swear to you, I thought I was going to die. There's no way I could play a full season in that kind of cold.
Maybe changed, maybe all the cheese on his head and, the weather changed his brain chemistry up a little bit.
Dude, I see him out. I mean, right? Like, he's going to leave. Unfortunately, I kind of see him. Denver seems like a really landing spot that makes a lot of sense. They've already done this before. Brought in a veteran quarterback. Peyton Manning, obviously, came in, had a lot of success. I don't want to see that because, obviously, we're Kansas City Chiefs fans. But, honestly, if I'm Aaron, I need to second-guess that thought as well. When you look at that division, Justin Herbert broke every rookie record literally possible last year with the worst offensive line graded by Pro Football Focus with the Chargers last year. And Patrick Mahomes is in that division. And now you want to come in there with a team that your weapons aren't better than those two. The weapons in Kansas City and Los Angeles, I almost said San Diego, are better than what he's going to have. And I'd argue the defense is probably better too now that you got that aging Von Miller, Nick Chubb off an injury, and they just paid a bunch of money to a few guys like Simmons. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely think he's out. As for Devontae Adams, I really don't know. He sounds like he's more money-oriented. As long as he gets paid, he's kind of okay being there. But if I'm him, I don't know if I want to be there without Aaron Rodgers. I really don't. And Green Bay, just a heads up to you, okay? From 2 Kansas City Chiefs fans and a Buffalo Bills fan, okay? Having a quarterback is a lot better than not having a quarterback. So before you're ready to run Aaron Rodgers the hell out of there, you better make sure Jordan Love can play half a lick. I mean, our teams went years. I mean, almost a full decade for us where we were starting Brody Croyle. I mean, Asa had to watch Nate Peterman throw 5 interceptions. For the
JP Lossman.
Yeah. So count your blessings. I mean, good Lord. There are 30-year-old Green Bay fans that have never seen a bad quarterback. You've never seen him. And you want to run this guy out. Good luck. You're Green Bay. You don't even get free agents. Good luck. You're not even a trade destination. Ridiculous.
Unless you're Randall Cobb, because he got traded back.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen. Matt LaFleur is going to get fired. Aaron Rodgers is going to leave town. And then whatever team Rodgers ends up on, Matt LaFleur will be hired as the offensive coordinator. Chaos. Let it all
Ridiculous.
burn.
Ryan says, I know one. What team, Ryan? Where's he going to end up?
Maybe the Raiders?
He did. The Raiders would be, I guess, a little bit better, but they can't figure out defense. That has never seen a bad Green Bay team.
What about
gotcha.
Panthers?
Panthers.
Imagine CMC and Aaron Rodgers together. Ooh,
DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. Yeah, that's pretty solid. That's a good team.
He seemed like he wanted to be like in California, and obviously the Rams now going with Matt Stafford is going to make that a little difficult.
Go to Carolina. Go to the other coast. Get Joe Grady.
Joe Brady. Yeah, the offensive coordinator
out there.
Matt Rule, baby. Matt Rule.
Matt Rule's cool
like,
too.
Yeah, he looks like he's a good coach.
We'll Carolina. I'm gonna call it right now. Carolina.
Really?
Okay.
Go to the same division as Brady?
Yeah. Brady,
that's true. That'd be rough.
Brady has to retire, folks. He has to.
Asa, listen to me carefully. I care about you. Don't do this, okay? Until you see that old man say he's done, don't do it, okay? We love you here.
The Jets? Yeah, the Jets would be good.
We don't want you to do that. The Jets just drafted Zach Wilson. I mean, I think he's going to be a bust, but that's just me. I mean,
Robert Saleh will hopefully not implode that team.
The dude's a smaller Johnny Manziel. Good luck.
Well, yeah, those rookie quarterbacks were going to actually be the next thing I was going to, talk about. The 5 who were drafted, as Zach Wilson obviously went number 2. Trevor Lawrence went 1. So I'll run this down real quick now that we're going rookie quarterbacks. Zach Wilson with the Jets, he'll be. I don't buy him long term. So I mean, if Aaron Rodgers would want to go there for some reason, just to give my 2 cents real quick, I still don't think the door is closed on him going to San Francisco. Only because I think they could, Kyle Shanahan could. Trey Lance is 20 years old, and I don't know how quickly. Like maybe he doesn't develop first year, so maybe Kyle Shanahan wants Aaron Rodgers for 2 years and he plays behind him. The door's not 100% closed, but anyway, we'll talk about the.
Oh yeah, it's the Aaron Rodgers treatment that he got from when Brett Favre was QB1. He sat for 4 years, right?
Yeah, 4 years, and that's crazy, dude.
Aaron Rodgers. Nowadays, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Which is why Aaron Rodgers can play for a very long time, because he didn't play for the first 4 years, and he doesn't. It's not about the money. It's about just if he wants to win, it would be about winning. So, I mean, that's where I think he should pay attention.
So to answer this question, Ryan, just because I have a funny story for this one, and you guys will remember this too, but James Dolan, the owner of the other New York franchise, the Knicks, this is how it could get worse. This is how it could get worse if you're the Jets. You could have an owner in James Dolan who plays his acoustic guitar on team flights and sings to his players. So they're not in the dumpster just yet, because James Dolan obviously made that impression with the Knicks and is obviously the worst owner in sports. So they can go further down the rabbit hole here. Hopefully they don't, because we don't want to see anybody implode further than they already have. But when you pick when you pick Zach Wilson, I mean,
the New Jersey Jets, whatever they're called, they're not in New York. They're the New Jersey Jets. They have that New York boulder on their shoulders. So it's what happens when you're in a big market. Although they play in New Jersey, let's not get into that. Okay. What we should get into, and that's the next topic, that is Frankie Boy my ex QB savior, is he gonna right the ship in Indy? So Carson Wentz got a little injured, so he might not be available week 1. Although there are rumors that he will be. Who knows? We also have Quentin Nelson injured as well right now, so they're also juggling that. They have Jonathan Taylor, who was a fantastic running back last season. With all being said, they had like 3 guys, and at the end of the year, he was number 1 on the depth chart. They have some nice tight ends there, but again, they like to throw to all of them. So who knows? Maybe filter out one of the guys there. And they probably play in the easiest division, right? I mean, the Titans are probably their biggest competition, and they kind of revamped on offense with Julio Jones and defense with
Bud Dupree.
Bud Dupree, Bud Dupree, linebacker. So it's gonna be interesting, but I do think they have a shot to win the division. What are your guys' thoughts about Frank Reich, head coach, maybe imaging Carson Wentz?
I mean, for Carson's sake, I kind of hope he gets the opportunity to start week 1 and get a chance to kind of play again and see the field. I don't really want to go out on a limb and say he's earned it, because he didn't play particularly well in Philly, even though he was given awful circumstances. That leaves them, if he doesn't play week 1, like you said, Ace, him and Quentin Nelson both suffered the same injury literally a day apart, which is just unbelievable bad luck. 5 to 12 week timeline for recovery with that injury. So they're most likely on track to be there for week 1, but as long as there's no hiccups, with no setbacks barring that. When we last saw Carson at his best in 2017, he was leading the Eagles to a 12-1 record, playing against the Rams, 3,300 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 picks. Like, he was balling. So if he can get back to that level, I think the Colts can be really good, because they have also probably aside from Bobby Wagner, the best linebacker in the NFL in Darius Leonard, and they just re-upped him on a contract extension for 4 more years. So defensively, they've improved. Frank Reich is a good leader of men. You see, for people who pay attention, you've seen like videos out of locker rooms. He's a very like players coach. He loves to be there with them. So I think the Colts the Titans are definitely a challenger in that division. They've won it for consistently a couple years in a row now. So as long as they're there week 1, I think they have a chance. But they have a rough start to the beginning of the season. They have a very rough start. I don't have their schedule on hand. I'll pull it up, but. While I get that, Jay, what do you think?
I mean, I think reuniting with Frank Reich is huge for Carson Wentz. I think offensively, they could have used one more playmaker. I mean, Michael Pittman is back for his 2nd year, and he was pretty average, to be honest. He had a couple of spot plays, but I was a big fan of Michael Pittman coming out of USC last year. I think that he still has some room to improve. I love his size. I love his speed. I love his ability to get yak after the catch. T.Y. Hilton, I mean, he's T.Y. Hilton. He's fine. But besides that, they're a little lacking. Asa mentioned their tight ends. They have about 7 of them. So get used to a lot of the tight end work. Carson's used to that, having Goddard and Ertz over there in Philly. I don't think that any one of the tight ends that they have is remotely close to either one of those guys. But, the offensive line is better. I think the defense is good. The secondary is average. The linebacking core is pretty above average. And then their pass rush is pretty lacking. Justin Houston's still out there, not signed. Somebody that they probably need to take a look at because of how rough they are on the edges. They're very young. They did use a draft pick on that this year. Can't see, a draft pick coming in and making a huge difference right off the gate, especially without any wholesale changes. They're going to run the same defensive scheme. Defensive coordinator is the same. So, I mean, they were teetering into playoff contention last year. I think they actually ended up sneaking in, right? Once you get rid of that statue, Phillip Rivers back there, I swear to God, that guy can't outrun a dang one of the dang vacuums. The automated vacuums. I swear to you, they'll catch Phillip Rivers with how little him and his bow tie can run. Too busy chasing around the 20 kids he has in order to get some movement in the pocket. Maybe he should act like he's in the pocket like he is with his little kids. Maybe he'll move a little better. Good Lord. There were rumblings about him. People are like, oh, he's staying in shape. Well, you stay in shape, Phil, and you keep coaching those high school kids because no one needs you right now. Okay.
So to elaborate on Andrew's point, they start with the Seahawks, Rams, Titans, Dolphins, and Ravens. The Dolphins missed the playoffs last year by a game, but that's pretty much 5 playoff teams right there. They drafted Kwity Paye this past draft in the first round. They got DeForest Buckner. So I mean, they have some nice pieces on defense. And then Michael Pittman actually had a really nice game in the wild card round against the Buffalo Bills, which they just lost by a field goal. So I mean, this team's not bad at all. I mean, here's the depth chart though, and so we'll bring up Ryan's comment. You want to bring that up real quick while I read you the depth chart? It's Carson Wentz QB1, Jacob Eason QB2, Sam Ellinger QB3, Brent Hundley QB4. So they might sign Nick Foles. they just might.
Well, they have to trade for him because he's the third string quarterback for the Bears, right?
Right.
Apparently, Jacob Eason and Sam Ellinger are like in a heated battle for the number 2 backup spot. Sam Ellinger is a gamer. Like, Sam Ellinger played for 3 years at Texas. I mean, it's not like he went to a little school. Sam Ellinger's seen big time ball. And Kwity Paye was the guy. Now that you mentioned Kwity Paye, he was the guy that I was pretty high on in the draft. I thought he wasn't going to be there for the Colts. I like his talent. DeForest Buckner, is he ever going to stay healthy? Because I don't know.
He's injured right now.
Of course he is. Yeah, why not? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Kwity Paye also sprained his ankle. Thank you for the research there.
Why not?
Andrew.
Yeah, just go for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Chalk it up. Add it to another one. I feel bad for Carson. I feel kind of bad, to be honest.
I think he's a little overrated by the Super Bowl run. I don't know.
No shot. Dude, he's unbelievable, Ace. He's huge, has a hose, and can move. Literally, checkity, check.
Okay, sure. I believe you. I mean, you're not wrong. I just think he's a little overrated, is all.
Right now, I feel like people think he's cheeks. I don't know.
He gets so much attention because he is overrated. Why else are we talking about him? I don't know. Okay, while we talk about 4 QBs on a depth chart, let's talk about the 4th QB on the Houston Texans depth chart right now, which is Deshaun Watson. He's behind everybody. Tyrod Taylor, and don't care about the rest. So Deshaun, he might not play another snap in the NFL, which is crazy because this fool is a really good quarterback. And we're gonna talk later in the show about who we would start a team around if we could today, and we have to choose non-QBs for that little segment. I mean, a lot of people, if it was a QB, you could choose QBs. A lot of people would choose Deshaun Watson. So I mean, he is I don't know, MIA currently.
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Wouldn't be you. I mean, if there's some knucklehead out there that wants to take Deshaun Watson number 1 overall, you go for it. As far as I'm concerned, Deshaun Watson, figure out the legal stuff. He needs to go on the commissioner's exempt list, and we need to get this sorted out. I don't know what's going on. There are way too many accusations for this just to be a blip. Commissioner's exempt list. I don't want to hear his name until they figure out what the hell is going on. And if he's actually getting charged and indicted and they have legit proof that this is actually happening with these women, I don't want to hear his name ever again, to be honest.
So if you type in Deshaun Watson and you hit news on Google, the 3rd article you get is Fox News. The 4th one you get is TMZ. When Fox News and TMZ are giving you sports information, that means something is not correlating with the other. And I think this guy isn't going to play this year. Like I'll bet $100 gentlemen dollars on that.
No, like seriously, don't you guys think he should be on the exempt list and then just get this figured out, right? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why it's taken so long. I mean, there's even rumors out there that the Eagles are trying to trade for him. The Panthers are hopeful that he can maybe become available by some point. I made this point a couple shows ago. John McClain, he's the senior writer for the Houston Texans, has been for 45 years. I did a little deep digging on John McClain. Apparently people in Houston view him as a very unreliable source, and he kind of acts out of emotion and speaks out of emotion. But he tweeted out 2 days ago saying that Deshaun Watson will never play another down of football for the Texans ever again. Like, that was the whole tweet verbatim. But again, people around Houston are saying that he's kind of uncredible, not very reliable. So I don't know how much to read into that. Their GM, Nick Caserio, has also been on radio shows the past few weeks kind of talking about the situation, and he's hopeful, I guess to say, like, very quotations hopeful. I'm not exactly sure how he's going to make the field again. He probably should be on the exempt list, I don't know when that's going to happen. I mean, yeah, it happened to Trevor Bauer, and it took a week. Not even. I mean, it was scratch from a start, scratch from the next start, exemplist, and then he hasn't really played since then. So,
if Trevor Bauer, ex Cy Young, like literally he just won the Cy Young last season. He was starting a YouTube production channel. He was giving you an in-depth look onto what like a player's life could be. I think like maybe we were looking at like a potential like door opening for the MLB if like Trevor Bauer was able to, run his successful channel and start, and then obviously the Dodgers are on pace to be a World Series contender again. So like that's like so glorious. And then where he is now is just, oh my Lanta. And Deshaun Watson, like this was a playoff team just a couple years ago. So I mean, it's not absurd to think that they can't make the playoffs every year, even with a lackluster unit around you. So
the Houston Texans were leading the Kansas City Chiefs 24-0 in a playoff game 2 years ago.
They came from behind to embarrass my Buffalo Bills the year before that. So
I just want to say, for the sake of both of our quarterbacks for our respective franchises that we support, real quick, on social media, Deshaun Watson, prior to all this stuff about the horrid stuff that has been coming out, let's say end of 2019, people were saying that if he were in Patrick Mahomes' position or Josh Allen's position, that he would be playing better or as good. I don't believe that, because Deshaun Watson, while as talented as he is, and I'm not going to go too deep into this, I'm just going to say this. Deshaun Watson, for as talented as he is, has never thrown for more than 26 touchdowns in an NFL season. Patrick Mahomes threw for 50, and just last year, Josh Allen threw for 38. So miss me with that. He's not going to – these guys aren't going to just step into situations and be better than the people who are currently in those situations. Like, that's the thing that I didn't like hearing from Deshaun. Albeit a great talent and good quarterback, I just want to say, for the sake of both of our quarterbacks, for the franchise we support, I just wanted to put that out there real quick. That's all.
Yeah, some could say we've made fun of these guys, or we've defended. We have accused them or given them a really hard time. You could even say we taunted them a little bit. And yeah, we did, because if you allegedly did something or you didn't, I don't want to hang out in your circle anymore, which leads us to the next little slide we can talk about here. Andrew, why don't you lead us into this taunting conversation? What's going on in the NFL?
So taunting's not really like a rule that's changed going into this next season, but the NFL Players Association and the officiating crews and the NFL all together got together, and they said that they want to make points of emphasis. So they released a 5-minute video talking about penalties that happen and like low blocks from offensive linemen. They want them to be officiated a little bit better. But the one that most people took away was taunting. So going into the 2021-22 season, taunting is now going to be just kind of enforced more. And they made this a point of emphasis, and nobody really saw it as a problem. I can't personally say that I've seen it as a problem, taunting. It hasn't been that bad. I think we had an issue with celebrations that the NFL kind of nipped in the bud a little while ago. But again, the celebrations wasn't something that a lot of NFL fans were really clamoring to be dealt with or to be eradicated of. So I don't really understand what the NFL is doing with this. So again, in the 5-minute video, they showed a couple examples, and they're just letting everybody know that two violations of the taunting penalty is an automatic ejection. And on top of that, they're not going to be throwing fines, and even suspensions could possibly be in play for because they're going to be reviewing these taunting things now, depending on how severe they are, and they could be in play. And I don't know. Do you guys think that like the NFL has like a taunting problem? Do you guys see too much of it? I mean, personally, I don't. I like the division rivalries where you get a lot of like that banter and stuff. I mean, some stuff goes over the line. Like, in recent years, we've seen like guys like Aqib Talib like snatch chains off of people. That's a problem. But taunting specifically, I haven't really. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a big issue to me, unless you guys have some other examples. Or things that maybe have bothered you.
Yeah. So I think ultimately they are allowing like NFL touchdown celebrations again. Taunting kind of flirts those lines just a little bit. I mean, it's encouraged via your celebration in a way, right? Like, because what's the ultimate taunt is, you score a touchdown and then you're silly about it. I mean, as long as I think it treads a line that gets a little like like worrisome in a way. So I think it's good that they like start the conversation early, because with all like ways you can like harass a person, be it by not just being a dick, like but being racist and argumentative for no reason. I think it's a safe way to just make sure like the NFL's like potentially like has a way of saying like, well, we thought about this before, so and so happened, or what, this person was being stupid, or what have you. So I think it's necessary in a way, because this is the most popular sport, so they have to like safeguard their broadcasts and make sure that they like put the players in a box just a little bit more, so in case like the players come out of the box, they can be like, get back in your box. So I think it's unnecessary if it I think it'll be unnecessary for a little bit, but what we'll see like potential like taunting go over the edge, and then we'll be like, oh, okay, well at least the NFL had this in place.
Okay, my turn. If anyone has ever seen Bill Belichick talk on that 1.5-minute clip that he has that's floating around the social media interfaces, it's 100% right on in what he says here. Football is hard, okay? Football is the most team game that you're ever going to play, okay? When people make fun of Bill Belichick for saying, do your job, unless you actually play football, I feel like it gets a little misconstrued, okay? If your job is simple as getting in the way of someone, that's your job. And it's hard in the NFL to get all 11 people. It's hard in any level of football. It's hard at any point to have all 11 people do their job correctly. Now, to make a play on a football field, right, to intercept the pass or score a touchdown or get a first down is extremely, extremely hard. It takes research, it takes film study, it takes you got to sit there and grind to make plays in the National Football League. Like basketball, you watch film, all that stuff, but a lot of times, dude, in basketball, you go out there, you use your instincts, you've been playing basketball your entire life, ready to go. There's some of that in football. There's also a lot of schematics and game planning that goes into day-to-day and weeks. You get game plans every week just for your opponent for this coming week. That's 12, 20 pages deep. And that was just for me in D3 college football. Okay. Taunting is one thing that, we gotta check that. But celebrating is something that the NFL has consistently had a problem with that I don't see. If you make a damn play, you celebrate. If I made a play, I'm celebrating, bro. And you gonna know about it. And you gonna hear about it for a cool minute. Until the ball snapped again, you're gonna know that I just made a damn play. Okay? So taunting, by all means. Okay, taunting, we don't do the taunting. Homeboy came up to Tyreek Hill, in the Super Bowl, chucked the deuces. Okay, cool, it was a Super Bowl. You're not going to miss any games because it's the end of the season. But celebrating and taunting are where the NFL needs to start drawing a stricter line. Because if I'm celebrating, I don't want to get caught for a taunting penalty because I'm celebrating. So as long as they can do a good job of keeping that from blurring, then I think we're okay. Because, you don't want to go up to someone and, like, flip them the bird or something, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to taunt someone, like, directly like that. But if I make a play on you, I moss your stuff, I'm going to let you know I just mossed the crap out of you, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, I like the fun. I like you concentrating on the fun aspect of it because, ultimately, like, it is a lot of fun watching an NFL game. Even a bad NFL game, you can, like, get some enjoyment out of a defensive held game. So, yeah, you're not wrong. I don't know. It's like Roger Goodell being hated so much because, like, after something bad happened or I don't know, there was like him needing to like put punishment down on a player or whatever, like he was doing it after the fact had happened without like prior like evidence or stuff being put into place, and he was just kind of like being like a dictator in a sense. So yeah, I get that 100% completely. Like the dude is kind of puts the word dick in dictator. So I'm not 100% against you. Yeah, it would be nice if they had more fun though. So Ryan here saying there's a difference between celebrating a sack versus being up 20 and going and getting into the other team's face. Yeah, T.O. running to midfield was it Dallas's star a couple of times there back in the day?
Low key, the greatest. That was the greatest of celebrations. That was cool. I like that a lot.
Probably the greatest of taunts ever. I mean, is that a taunt though? No, right?
Yeah, that's 100% a taunt.
See, that's a taunt. Okay, but
Yeah.
is the one where he put the cell phone under the pylon to call his ma? Is that a taunt or is that a celebration?
Well, wasn't that Chad Ochocinco?
Whoever, I don't care.
Yeah, that's a celebration. I guess having props is like having props. I understand because you don't know what's like. I mean, I'm not suggesting that NFL players are going to bring anything dangerous to the field, but you never know. So I guess having props is fine, and that's fine to be penalized. But like, no, it's not a taunt. It's definitely a celebration and a cool one on that. Like, I think that's funny. Like, that's hilarious. I mean, like Tyreek Hill even was it? I don't know if it was last year or the year before, where he jumped into the stands and was like using like the video camera and stuff and like panning around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I always think
fun.
about Zeke jumping in the Salvation Army bin.
Yeah, see, those are fun. That's cool. Like,
as long as you're doing it for the fans and not for yourself, I think there's like a, that, like, I get doing it for your team, but like, it's like you do something really good and you're like usually I'm like don't let them know like you're like that happy. You like sometimes not rubbing it in is like makes the other team like flip out more because rubbing it in is easy. Like taking the high road is sometimes a little harder.
Mm-hmm. And I think Johnny will tell you every player kind of has their own way of going about it, and there's no like some people are just going to be really loud and some people are just going to let their play do the talking. And I mean, like, that's just kind of how it is. And you're going to get some of both. And that's what makes it so much fun because it's unpredictable. The NFL is so unpredictable. It's who's the best on any given day, no matter what the circumstances are. And that's why it's so much fun to cover and talk about it. We could sit here for 3 hours and just talk about it. But I mean, that's what makes it so great. So.
Okay, we'll start the timer. We'll be here for another 2 hours and 19 minutes. Damn. Okay, Andrew, I have defaulted to you a couple of times here.
No worries, go for it.
Why don't you lead this last segment? Old faces and new places.
Absolutely.
You funny because you rhyme, buddy? Huh?
A little bit. I like to, a little bit of rhyme time, bringing back a little bit of the old Ace when we, the vintage AJA, a little bit of rhyme time. So old faces in new places. I got a couple guys jotted down here. So I guess I just wanted to bring this out. A lot of big names kind of, swap jerseys this year. Most notably, Julio Jones and Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, 11 seasons in Detroit, now with the Rams. Julio Jones, same thing, 11 years in, but obviously different team. 11 years in Atlanta, now over to Tennessee to pair pretty well, I would say, with AJ Brown to form a pretty formidable wide receiver tandem over there. And then that's gonna be like if Julio's healthy, I don't really know where he stands on the tier of wide receivers and stuff, but he's probably still considered a top 5 receiver if healthy. And then the other guys, I kept guys who were really, really notable for their respective teams. So Orlando Brown Jr. Obviously made the switch from the Ravens. He was traded for that first round pick over to the Chiefs. And if you're, us being Chiefs fans and people who watch the Super Bowl, you know how badly they need offensive line help. So I thought that was a very important addition this offseason. Kenny Golladay, who made a name for himself in Detroit with Matthew Stafford, moved over to the Giants in free agency. And Jadeveon Clowney, who I had him here not necessarily because he's an impact player. He's just kind of that guy who's super talented, was touted as the premier edge rusher of the decade, not just the year. He was the premier pass rusher of the decade and was going to be like what not Aaron Donald because they play different positions, but we expected a lot more than what we've gotten from him. And his career high in a season is 6 sacks. So he now pairs up with Myles Garrett in Cleveland. So my question to you guys is, out of Julio Jones, Orlando Brown, Kenny Golladay, Jadeveon Clowney, or Matthew Stafford, who do you think has to have the largest impact for their new team, and or who do you think will have the largest impact for their new team?
You want me to go first, Jay? Okay, so the Titans made the playoffs, stunk. The Chiefs had an offensive line problem, and they fixed that. Kenny Golladay, supremely talented in Detroit, but Detroit kind of sucks a little bit on offense. Mind you, the scheming there is terrible. Jadeveon Clowney's whatever. I don't care to talk about him too much. I think the easy one, the one that vaults a team from nothing, maybe, hinge to wow, they better win this division, is Matthew Stafford. and career-wise, he's had a longer career than Jared Goff. He's minimally better if you look at like QB rating. Like he's minimally worse than Jared Goff. Jared Goff's only been in the league for like 4 years, mind you, but it has to be Matthew Stafford because the Rams have the best guy on defense, and now their offense can be like a little, could be pushed a little bit harder. Goff to me will probably always be just a solid quarterback who fits a system and works well into that system. Matthew Stafford's a little bit like more up and down, but I mean his ups are higher and his downs are a little worse. But I'd rather put my money on that. And I'd just like to also throw this out there. I think you didn't say the biggest move potentially, not just for this season. So I'm going to answer your question for this season, and I'm going to answer your question for the next 5 years. And I think it's Corey Linsley going to the Chargers for Justin Herbert, because Justin Herbert could be the next something special in this league. And I like that move like a hell of a lot for them, given
that is a big one. I did miss that.
No, but I mean, for this season, Matthew Stafford is the most impactful traded piece in the league. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I agree. Especially considering, what they had with Jared Goff. If you look at the Rams, they're not going to have a first-round pick for the next 25 years here. So good luck to them. Hopefully Stafford does it. I mean, that's why they recruit so hard in free agency trying to get people, because God knows they ain't drafting nobody with those draft picks. I would personally say the offensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs. Homer. I know, #Homer. Go ahead, knock it. I don't care. The Chiefs O-line last year, for as much as people wanted to knock it, wasn't great by any means. But by the time we got to the Super Bowl, I hope everyone knows that we had one starter healthy. We were literally playing 3 people out of position and a backup. So they were awful. There's no doubt about it. And that front 7 for the Tampa Bay Bucks are very, very, very good, which made that stand out even more. And I think that was perfect. That was a perfect recipe for the Kansas City Chiefs, because it made them really took a long look in the mirror and say, hey, this offensive line, even at full strength, it's not it, or else this is not happening. So wholesale changes had to happen. Wholesale changes did happen. LDT, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, was a guy, if you would have asked me last year, he's probably one of our top 3 best linemen. There's questions on if he's a backup right now. Trey Smith has come in and has taken that right guard spot, it sounds like. So I'm really interested to see the entire Chiefs offensive line. Once you give Patty Mahomes $400 million, baby, you better protect that asset. So really good to see them do that. I think that those are 2 huge signings. Joe Thuney, obviously a veteran, knows what he's doing. You pretty much know what you're going to get from him. He's pretty solid, pretty stable. And then Orlando Brown is a guy who didn't want to play right tackle in Baltimore. I thought the situation in Baltimore was going to get fixed up. I didn't think Orlando Brown was even going to be an option for Kansas City, because I did not see him leaving Baltimore. I just thought he was a supreme talent. He's one of the top 5 left tackles in the league, and he wasn't even playing left tackle in Baltimore.
Joe Thuney too, man.
Yeah, so I think those were the 2 biggest. Those are the 2 that can have the biggest impact.
I was just thinking about on defense, J.J. Watt now with the Arizona Cardinals. I think that's a huge move for a team that already had some good playmaking abilities, but now gets that wily veteran who's hungry to win because he's never won before. He's been on, he's relatively been the best defensive player in the league for a while. So, yeah.
I really wanted to include him, but then I don't know if you guys heard the same thing, but Chandler Jones apparently wants out of Arizona now. So I weighed that option, and I was like, why would he want to leave after JJ now came? And they now it made me a little hesitant about it. So I weighed the option about including him, but that's a good point. You brought up 2 guys that will definitely be impact players for their respective teams. JJ Watt maybe not as long as Linsley, but for sure.
There's a lot of cool moves that happen. The Vikings getting Patrick Peterson is good for them, and playing against Green Bay. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun year. We'll see. Veterans are usually the impact players too. We focus so much on the new flashy quarterbacks and the wide receivers after we saw what. Oh my gosh, his name is slipping me. Vikings wide receiver did last year.
Jefferson.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson doing. We're just gonna keep feeding the mouths of hungry NFL fans all this glorious drama, but behind the scenes, these veterans being moved around is gonna really make the impact. And could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Chiefs have the best odds of winning the Super Bowl now that they fixed that offensive line. So I don't care what the odds makers say. I don't care if Tampa Bay brought back 22 starters. I would still favor the Chiefs over them.
The Cardinals did bring in AJ Green. So I mean, AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, pretty solid. Kyler Murray. This is I think this is a prove it year more for Cliff Kingsbury. Just to touch on the Cardinals for 1 second, it's more of a prove it year for Cliff Kingsbury than it is for Kyler Murray. I think the Cardinals are pretty set on him as being the guy, but I don't really know how they feel about Cliff Kingsbury. People were I read a couple articles today who were saying that this might be the year that he really has to perform. It's going to be the most difficult because now Matthew Stafford in the division, and I mean. That's gonna be a tough division. It'd probably 2 or 3 teams will make the playoffs out of that division. I would imagine, because even the Rams in the division, even though they started John Wolford in that in the wild card game, they still made the playoffs, and they had an outside chance of winning their game.
He almost won.
He almost won it. Yeah, he almost won because I forgot who they played.
He got hurt in the first quarter. They came in with their 3rd string guy, kept it close, and then he came in and almost won the damn thing. Yeah. No, it's unbelievable. Yeah, I think Kyler's got a little bit to prove this year. I mean, Kyler had a really strong start to last season, and then kind of what, I'm not trying to knock Kyler, but kind of what we thought was going to happen kind of happened. He's a smaller guy. I mean, go line them up. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and then Kyler, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Shoot, line him up next to Lamar, and he's small next to Lamar. So, I mean, just that durability question, dude. If he's going to run the ball, because when he was dominant in the beginning of the season, he was running the ball as much or shoot even more than Lamar. And
right.
You can't, it's just not sustainable.
Then he got hurt. Yep. Easy recipe for disaster. And Kyler's really good. Yeah,
this is something that Colin Cowherd talks about on his show a lot. He talks about Cliff Kingsbury. He talks about Cliff Kingsbury and is like, is Cliff Kingsbury the right coach? Well, Cliff Kingsbury hand-selected Kyler Murray. Literally hand-selected him. They work together. They used to coach together. You coached them. What do you mean?
I think he's a good coach.
I mean, he's a fine coach in he's one of the hardest divisions of football. And he got his quarterback. What are you talking about?
Egregious.
It is egregious.
Okay. We got a couple. Well, now we're into the fun part of the show, right? So let's transition into that. For lack of a better transition, let's just hit this one.
Hey.
One player you would start your team with, non-quarterback. Ooh, it's a juicy decision. Who wants to lead this off? Feel free to also let us know what you guys think.
I can go first here.
Okay.
Yeah. I weighed a lot of options. I weighed obviously both sides of the football. Who's the best at their position, age, all these things. I took them into account. Obviously, non-quarterback. I settled on this guy. I feel pretty confident on him. He is injured. We mentioned him early in the show, but the one guy I would start my franchise with, if it wasn't a quarterback, is Quentin Nelson. I'll give you reasons why. The reasons why are going to be he is an interior
lineman.
He is an interior offensive lineman, so that's going to be the first
not
question
a tackle.
Not a tackle. I think from what I saw in the Super Bowl last year, and from what I've seen from defenders can win at every level of the offensive line now, and you need to make sure that you're shored up in every spot. Guard, center, tackle, it all matters. So, you can make the argument that the blind side is the most important in the left tackle, and for obvious reasons you'd want to make that, which is why obviously the Chiefs paid a premium going to get Orlando Brown. But I think just Quentin Nelson is kind of like the new age Zach Martin. He's a little more athletic, and Zach Martin was went on a 7 to 8 year run of making the All-Pro first team Pro Bowls. I think Quentin Nelson is in line exactly for that. In my opinion, he's full stop the best offensive lineman in the NFL. And again, this is hitting home a little bit more, choosing the offensive line because of what I witnessed 6 months ago. And he's 3 years in. He's got all Pro and Pro Bowl honors every year of his career since joining the Indianapolis Colts. I think if anyone on this offensive line is going to go to the length of keeping Carson Wentz upright and healthy this season, I think it's going to be Quentin Nelson. Again, it sounds a little weird because they're both kind of injured right now. It's just kind of unlucky. They're not crazy injuries. They'll be back for the season. So I'm going to go with Quentin Nelson. He's an interior offensive lineman. I feel confident about it. I mean, he's kind of grown on me, and he's definitely grown on the Colts organization, and he's the cornerstone of that offensive line. And when you lose guys like Anthony Costanzo, who have been there for well over a decade, it's good to have people like this who are young. He's only 25 and can lead this franchise on the offensive line for the next decade. He'll be the next guy. So Quentin Nelson, I'm good with it.
Yeah, if you're an NFL GM, when in doubt, draft a Notre Dame offensive lineman. You'll be right most of the time. So I similar things. I'm a defensive guy, so normally you'd probably assume that I'm going to go defense. I'm not going to go defense. Defense is a lot more about mindset than individual play. Mindset and team and pursuit than individual play and effort. On the defensive side of the ball, if you have a team that gives effort, knows their roles and flies around the field to the football, you're normally going to be in a pretty good spot. So my next thought was, okay, if I can't get a quarterback, who's going to help my quarterback the most? And obviously, as Andrew mentioned, offensive line sounds like a great place to go, and left tackle specifically. I kind of went a different route. I went with the best tight end I've probably ever witnessed in Travis Kelce. Mostly because he's able to do, as a tight end, we're able to do both. And he's a tight end that impacts on all three levels of the offense. Now, let me explain. He may not be the best blocking tight end, but he's a damn good one. He is the best tight end receiving. It's not even close. I mean, yeah, you can take a George Kittle comment and you can stick them right up your keister, okay? George Kittle's never had more than 5 touchdowns in a season, okay? Never more than 5. Last 5 for Trav. Let me get the book out. 85 for 1125 and 4 T's. 83 catches, over 1,000 yards, 8 T's. 103 catches, 1,336 yards, 10 T's. 97 catches, 1,229 yards, 5 T's. 105 catches, 1,416 yards, 11 touchdowns. If you are a quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs over the last 5 years and you throw it near Travis Kelce, he's going to catch it 70.5% of the time, okay? It's unbelievable. It's ridiculous. It's really quite ridiculous. So, yeah, I'm going to go Travis Kelce. I can see why anyone would want to go with an offensive lineman. Makes total sense to me. But I get a guy who can affect the game in the passing game. And okay, so back to my 3 levels, right? Run game, he's effective. Short pass game and yards after the catch, he's effective. And Andrew made a point over the last 5 years, Andrew? He leads the NFL in 20-plus yards receptions of anyone.
He's second. Over the last 5 seasons, he's the second, including receivers and whatever you want to include.
Yeah. Okay, second. So he's second.
Okay. As a tight end, though, that's crazy. I mean, ridiculous.
Yeah, it's trap.
So I almost went Chase Young when I was thinking about this because I was like, okay, potential next Lawrence Taylor in this league. I don't know. But I didn't.
He's a menace. He's so good.
He's a menace to society. Okay, so I think I went with the boring pick because I chose a running back. If you look at the list of, MVPs, the most valuable players award, I know it's not necessarily always just black and white. There's a little gray area there, but the only other guys on this list are like running backs in the last 30 years, and we haven't had a running back win it since Adrian Peterson back in, I think, a decade ago. So that's why I went with the running back, because I was like, okay, well, the most value for the position. So the guy that I went with, give you a little quick rundown here as quick as I can. He was the Offensive Rookie of the Year, his rookie year in 2017. Kind of a slow start. Was on the depth chart behind Adrian Peterson. Go figure, 2011 Adrian Peterson. This was 2017. He finished the season with 1,900 all-purpose yards, 6.1 rushes per yards per rush, which led the league. He played only 45% of the team snaps, scored 13 times. 2018, he was still not number 1 on the depth chart. He was behind Mark Ingram. I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about yet. Who was out for the first 4 games, filled in admirably, did well. Finished that season with 14 touchdowns, led the team in rushing yards, proved that he could be a receiver and a runner. 2019 was a little injury riddled. He had ankle and knee problems he only missed 2 games, but kind of affected his output. Still at 800 on the ground, 500 in the air, 6 total touchdowns that year which was where we saw the most dip in his usefulness to score. And then last year, playing with old man Breeze Alvin Kamara had a career high in receptions, 750 passing yards, 900 rushing yards, almost cracked 1,000, 21 total touchdowns, which was a franchise mark for that team, and the Christmas Day touchdown game where the 6 rushing touchdowns, which we haven't seen since 1929. So like this is when teams didn't pass the ball; they just ran it. I think he's elite in balance and vision and explosiveness and hands. I would even say too. Mm-hmm. I think he's damn versatile, dual threat. I would even have him before CMC, Christian McCaffrey, just because I just like him a little bit better. I just like how he's built a little bit better. I think Christian McCaffrey is like the wide receiver running back combo. But I think this guy's more of a runner. I would start with Alvin Kamara. He's 26 years old, I think. So, I mean, he's still young. And he's been in an offense that has been led by Drew Brees, which isn't a bad thing, passing like 60 times a game. So, like, the emphasis on the offense has to change this year. He's the number one playmaker on this offense. So, a lot of we're going to see what, how he has to deal with the defense, just specifically focusing on him, especially with the Michael Thomas, who knows if he's going to even get back to like wanting to play the way he's played before. I think Alvin Kamara is who I would start my team with when leather helmets existed. You damn right, Ryan. So. Yeah, I mean, I thought one of you was going to pick Alvin, so I was like a little worried, but no. I mean, we all kind of had a different take there, and I like that a lot. Yeah, we could all just start a team, and I got the running back, you got the tight end, you got the
pretty good team with all three of those guys if you start. Seriously.
Oh yeah.
Kamara's crazy, man. He looks like he's just kind of gliding around out there when he's on the field. The Green Bay run was crazy.
What's crazy too is he has not spent a penny of his rookie contract and his like extension that he's got, which is just absurd. He's just making money off of his endorsements and living by that, and it's crazy. I mean, to me that reads as a player not doing it for he's not doing it for like money, right? He's also doing it because it really means a lot to him. There's like some glory involved in that. So I like a player who thinks like longevity. He wants to probably be in the league for quite a long time. He's also thinking about like his whole career and what's going to happen afterwards. So I think he comes off a little flashy, but he seems a little bit wholesome, and I like that a lot about him.
He followed the Gronk model. That's Gronk's. Gronk hasn't touched a single bit of his salary from the NFL either.
That's crazy. Well, good choices. I didn't even consider Travis Kelce, which is scary because he's so freaking good.
I thought about it, but only because he's 32. That's it. But he's showing no signs of slowing. But that's the only reason.
I mean, whatever. He could play till he's like 40 if he really wanted to. I hope so. Please play till you're 40. Mahomes has like 11, 12 more years on his contract or whatever. I think he'll want to stay for like as many years as possible. So yeah, I think he's a safe bet to stay around for a while. Okay, so let's end the show. Just as we're getting some football preseason this week. Let's just talk about some games we're excited to see this season, and then we'll wrap it up here. If you guys got any comments or things you want to share before we head off, now's the time to do it so we can focus a little bit on you. So let's
do you guys want to do this like Ace, you say one of yours, and if we have the same one, because if we have the same one, we'll just talk about it together.
Let's do.
I imagine we might.
Let's do a little round robin then. Okay, I'll go first. Thanksgiving night. This year we will have a 5:20 kickoff. It'll be the Bills at the Saints. The last time the Bills played the turkey game, they were underdogs to the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott and Jason Witten scored early. They were up early. Our offense had a punt a couple of times, but after that first quarter, the Bills stomped on them the rest of the way. Defense played strong. Josh had a great game. And that was the game where we had 9 wins, finished the season 10-6, made the playoffs, first time in a while. The Bills proved that they weren't just a weird experiment. McDermott, Bean, Allen proved that this mix could work. So now they're not the underdogs. Now they're the favorites going in against a underdog New Orleans Saints team, who I can see giving them problems, especially with Kamara and Winston can throw 60 times just as much as Breeze. So like if they want to plug him into the same scheme, they might be just as successful. This was a playoff team, made it into the second round last year. So I think it's going to be. And I love the holidays, so I think this is going to be one of the fun games to watch this season. AFC versus NFC, so potential matchup last year, a Super Bowl matchup too that we didn't get to see because obviously both these teams lost to the Super Bowl winners. Well, the teams that made the Super Bowl.
Right.
Does anyone have that on their list?
No, I didn't have that one, but I mean, geez, I feel like it's high time for us to get some good Thanksgiving games. I'm tired of seeing the Detroit Lions and the throwback unis and piss poor Washington football team. I'm sick of it. So
they're gonna be there. They're gonna both be there.
I know.
Let's go Bills, baby.
I'm like an idiot. I'm gonna watch, of course. I'm gonna sit there and watch them all.
Right.
Lord Lizzie, Bills Patriots. Yeah, that's gonna be a great game.
That's gonna be a fun game. Oh,
Yeah, right after Christmas. Heck yeah.
Okay. What about you, Chad?
I am very interested to see the Buffalo Bills take on the Tampa Bay Bucks in Week 14. Possible Super Bowl matchup if something happens to our beloved Kansas City Chiefs there. But look, these are two of the best teams in the National Football League. Leading up into the season. I'm really interested to see Josh Allen go up against that front seven of the Bucks that gave obviously our Patrick Mahomes quite a bit of trouble in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady has 32 wins against the Buffalo Bills. He's literally won 2 seasons worth of football just against the Buffalo Bills in his career. I saw this thing the other day too, from Tom Brady's first Super Bowl to his last Super Bowl. Calvin Johnson was drafted. And
made the Hall of Fame.
Made the Hall of Fame. While this dude's over here slinging the bases. It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
PTSD.
It's insane, dude. It's insane.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the Bills take on the Bucks there in Week 14. Unfortunately for Buffalo, they get both the AFC and NFC champ on the road next year. A little bit of a bummer there for the Buffalo Bills.
We have last season the Bills had like the 5th hardest schedule. This year they're like bottom 10 like easiest schedule, so they have one of the easier schedules this year. But I mean, they had to balance it out some way. If they get an easier schedule, they have to go on the road against the Chiefs and the Bucs,
of course. They had to Shanghai you one way,
and
right?
Of course, I think we met the Chiefs in Week 5 last year too. So they're giving me like deja vu vibes all over. Fuck. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Andrew. You're up.
No, you're good. That's going to be a great matchup. Yeah, I mean Brady and his history with the Bills. And Josh Allen's unbelievable. So we've talked about that. I'm going to go with a game that I know you guys don't have on the schedule because the AFC North is like it's not like the most exciting brand of football sometimes. With the inclusion of Lamar Jackson in recent years, it's definitely become more so of that. It's been more defensive heavy, but I'm going to go with the last Monday Night Football game of the season, and it's going to be the Browns at the Steelers. And the reason why I want to watch this game is because this could be a game where there's a lot on the line here. So Big Ben, this could be his final primetime appearance if he makes it to the end of the season. It could possibly be his last appearance in a Steelers uniform. It could also be the real springboard for the Cleveland Browns and their organization of really staking their claim in this division and being what everybody kind of thinks that they can be. Because this could be a game where it's deciding playoffs, a positioning, or it could even be a game where you look at it and it's a Monday Night Football game and the Browns have already locked up a playoff spot and it's just the humdrum Steelers not making the playoffs because I honestly don't think the Steelers will make the playoffs. But it could very well also be the game where they come up and they show up and they end up remaining the little brother to the Ravens and Steelers folklore of the AFC North who have continually dogged them so heavily in years past. So I think the Browns and Steelers and it's going to be the first. It's going to be in 2022. So it'll be the first Monday Night Football game in 2022. That. So Browns at Steelers. I think that's going to be an interesting one.
Nice. Okay, you started to talk about the AFC North, and I'm like, is he about to talk about my matchup? I almost pooped myself, which brings me to last year's game, which I'm happy to see this year again. It's the Lamar poop game. We're seeing a rematch of the Lamar poop game. The Browns at the Ravens. It's a late November matchup. I think it's Sunday after Thanksgiving, so I'm all thinking about the end of the season here a little bit. If I watched that game last year and it was nuts. Also, it scared the living crap out of Lamar Jackson, so he had to go poop. There were 6 scores in the final quarter. The Browns scored 3 TDs. There was a safety at the end of the game. It was just bonkers. They are, to me, the 2 best teams in this division now, and we're gonna see it on Sunday night. I think, yeah, they're playing Sunday night. The weird thing about this too is I think the Browns go on a bye week and then they face the Ravens again the next week. So it's just nuts.
Really?
The Browns have to face them. They'll play them at home after their bye week, which is, to me, seems like a scheduling error. Some dude in the office was like, just go with it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Maybe the second game is a little bit better because the first one, like, they're feeling each other out a little bit. But I'm excited for Lamar Poop Game 2.0.
I like that. I'm a Chiefs fan, so get over it. I'm gonna have a couple of Chiefs ones in here. I don't care. I'm gonna have Ace's team though. Buffalo at Kansas City, Week 5. I mean, 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL. Your best quarterback?
I sure hope so. I sure think so.
I mean, 2 AFC powerhouses. Obviously, this is a rematch of the AFC Championship game. This is kind of a no-brainer that a lot of people are looking forward to this one. In case anyone doesn't remember about that AFC Championship game, Kansas City went down 9-0. Yeah, they were down 9-0 going into the first. And then they went on
I didn't forget. I didn't forget.
little 24-3 run there to go get up, but that's gonna be a great game, dude. It's in Kansas City. Arrowhead's gonna be rocking. That's if COVID restrictions don't come back. Because holy Toledo, COVID, by the way. Wear your mask, get vaccinated, people. Do the right thing.
Talking about 2.0 for COVID.
Yeah, seriously, it's coming back for a second season. Nasty. No, seriously, yeah. I'm definitely excited to see that game. I mean, we have 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now going at it, and two overall teams that are very good. I mean, you look up and down the rosters on both of these teams, and these are Super Bowl contending rosters. I mean, I don't think anyone would be surprised if we see this matchup in the AFC Championship game again.
I don't think so. I don't think that would be probably an upset if we didn't. Yeah.
100% agreed. Yeah, it'd be an upset. I mean, the only team that I could see making it, aside from those other 2 teams, is Baltimore. And that is if I mean, poor Rashad. Like Rashad, we can get into this later, but Rashad Bateman already sustained an injury for that receiving core that needed all the help for Lamar Jackson. So I'm gonna go with a pretty obvious one. I feel like you guys might have had this one on your list already. It's the Bucks at the Pats. Brady's returning to New England. I'm not saying anything else about it. It's just Brady returning to New England. Sunday Night Football, Bucks versus Pats. I don't care how good the Patriots are. I don't care how good the Patriots are this season at all. Tom Brady is going to play Bill Belichick. Are you kidding me? Let's go. Football season, baby. Come on, let me do it. I'm not saying anything else. That's it. Bucks and Pats. That's it.
What's up to say? What's up to say?
That's it.
Those freaking cheaters, they'll figure out a way to win.
If you don't get psyched for that, bro, we don't have a pulse. Okay. Yeah, come on, dude.
Yeah, I remember Deshaun too. Thanks for putting that up there, buddy. Thanks. I can't forget. Okay, I can't forget these things. That's what makes me a Buffalo Bills fan. I embraced the 4 Super Bowls they went in a row when I wasn't a fan yet and lost. I understand. I embrace it. Let's go. Okay, my final game that I'm excited to see, and it's not another Buffalo Bills game. It's not a Chiefs game. Actually, I thought this one was a little cool. The Rams are opening SoFi Stadium this year. The game 1 is against the Chicago Bears, which is week 1. That's not cool. Week 3, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing at SoFi Stadium. This is going to be the second game in the new stadium. The champs might get back to the Super Bowl again, and this might be like their practice field. Getting used to the field before they venture on back. So I think it's obviously a strong possibility that Tampa Bay does it. So I'm expecting a lot out of the Rams this season with Stafford and McVay taking that offense to another level. I could see this team being easily 13-4, 14-3. Which is saying a lot coming from the division that they're in, which is probably the strongest there is. So, we'll see what happens, but I think that's going to be a great NFC game early in the season.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one. I mean, yeah, that's a possible NFC Championship game right there. You know, looking at it and talent that's around those two respective teams. It's another Chiefs game. Get over it. Don't care. Packers and Chiefs. Aaron Rodgers. That's who people want to talk about. You know, that's the most Mahomes-like guy that we're seeing out there. Aaron Rodgers, obviously MVP last year. All the drama that's going on with them. People were talking about, possibly this is a rematch of what could have been in the Super Bowl if Matt LaFleur would have let Aaron Rodgers go for it on fourth down. Or Packers fans, huh? Why don't you get the game tape out and see that your boy had 3 opportunities, third down and goal, put his nose in, and get in the end zone, but no, he panty foot out of bounds. Anyway.
He's clutch though, Jay. He's clutch. Come on, calm down.
Yeah, he's so clutch. Yeah, so clutch. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
he has as many Super Bowls as Patrick Mahomes, so whatever.
He's labeled as clutch because he's thrown Hail Marys. Matt Stafford has more fourth quarter comebacks than Aaron Rodgers. He's clutch for luck in these Hail Marys. Let's be honest. Anyway, yeah, super excited to see that one. Going to be in Kansas City. Obviously, Kansas City always rocking. Good luck calling whatever audible you got, Aaron. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that's a really good game to look forward to.
That would be a good game. Yeah,
no pressure here. You got to finish it off on a good game. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm finishing off with the Chiefs game. I'm leaving it for last. I had 2 non-Chiefs games going because I am actually genuinely excited for them. And not to mention in that Packers game too, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay offense went 3 straight possessions and he threw 3 straight interceptions. So no excuses, honestly. No excuses.
That was the worst final 2 minutes of a half I've ever seen in NFL history.
We talk about poop on this show. That's poop right there.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know why Mike Pettin still has a job as a defensive coordinator, but Matt LaFleur, you keep him employed and you sign his checks, baby. He's got to love it. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs at the Ravens. So the Chiefs visited the Ravens last year, handled them, absolutely handled them. This has kind of been Lamar Jackson's kind of crush and like thorn in his side since he came to the league. He's been able to beat a lot of teams. He's won a lot of football games. He's scored a lot of touchdowns. But this is not only the team that he has yet to beat, and this is more from a Lamar Jackson standpoint, because I expect the Chiefs to win this game. Obviously the Chiefs fan. But this is more from a Lamar Jackson standpoint, because I actually really like Lamar Jackson. I think he gets a lot of slack. I think people are good for what they are in the NFL, and you can't expect guys to do everything. But Lamar Jackson has his worst completion percentage against any team that he's played at least 3 times against the Kansas City Chiefs. His completion percentage across 3 games is 52%. And again, like I said, he's 0-3. So will this be the game? He gets another home Monday. He gets a home primetime game to try and prove again that he's, in that upper echelon of these AFC quarterbacks, because obviously Josh Allen has surpassed him in that and is now right beneath Mahomes, when Lamar Jackson looked like he was going to be that second guy. So this is another opportunity for Lamar. I think it's going to be another great game. It's early in the season, so we're not going to see the same teams that we see this early in the season that we'll see later on in the season, because every week is different. Everything changes. So I think that's a great matchup. That's the one I'm probably most excited for. That and the Bills for the Chiefs, at least.
Oh yeah, I would check your pulse if you're not excited for that one. Yeah. Okay. We are going to end this show right here, but I just really want to quickly ask you guys for one storyline that you're excited to see next season, and I'll go first. I am going to sit on the couch when I'm not working on Sundays, because I work on Sundays, before I go to work, and I am going to actively root for this to happen. But I think the Houston Texans will be the first 0-17 team next season. The storyline this season is going to be hilarious. It's, will the Houston Texans win a game? That's my storyline.
I love it. That's definitely possible, honestly. The way it's trending. Aside from being obvious, I'll say fans back in the stadium, but I think what I'm most looking forward to is the return of Dak Prescott. I've been very high on him, and I will talk more about Dak Prescott, but 3 of the 5 games he played last year threw over 450 yards. Can't wait to see him healthy again, honestly.
Jay, what's one storyline you can't wait for next season?
I'm a pretty big Sam Darnold guy. Like me some Sammy. He's the only since he came into the NFL, he is the one quarterback in the NFL who has played with the least amount of Pro Bowlers over there in the New York Jets, and they stink. So I don't think the Panthers are going to stink. So hopefully Sam Darnold. I want to see Sam Darnold do well there.
Bada bing, bada boom. We just hit the end of the show. It's the 1 hour 20-minute mark. Thanks for sticking around for the entire show, Ryan. We had a blast. Can't wait to talk football. Oh, this is gonna be exciting. I can't wait to give you hot takes every week, boys. It's gonna be a good rest of the year. Without that being said, guys, we'll see you on next time. We are out. Bye.
Peace out, guys.
Let's go, Buffalo! Hey, hey.
Very, very nice. Very nice. I can't wait for football to come back, man. Let's go.
Thank you very much.